The moment my assistant told me my mother was in the waiting room for a job interview, I thought she was joking. She wasn't. I'm Jordan Mitchell, 32 years old, and I'm the CEO and founder of Catalyst Technologies, a software company worth $40 million. I have a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Austin, a team of 80 employees, and more success than I ever dreamed possible. And sitting in my waiting room, dressed in an outdated suit and clutching a resume, was the woman who once told me I wasn't worth investing in. My mother. But let me back up and tell you how we got here. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, the younger daughter of Linda and Thomas Mitchell. My older sister, Brooke, was always the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect behavior, perfect everything. I was the messy one, the creative one, the one who asked too many questions and colored outside the lines. When Brooke wanted to go to Stanford for pre-med, my parents emptied their savings to make it happen. They were so proud. Our daughter, the future doctor, my mother would tell anyone who'd listen. When I told them I wanted to study computer science and entrepreneurship, my mother's response was very different. I was 17, sitting at the kitchen table with college brochures spread out in front of me. I'd been accepted to several schools, including MIT with a partial scholarship. "Mom, Dad, I got into MIT," I said excitedly. "Can we talk about how to make this work financially?" My father looked uncomfortable. My mother set down her coffee cup with a decisive click. "Jordan, we need to be realistic," she said. "We spent most of our savings on Brooke's education. We don't have another $100,000 lying around." "I know, but with my scholarship and if I work part-time, I'd only need about $20,000 a year. Maybe we could take out loans?" "Loans for a computer science degree?" My mother laughed. "Jordan, be sensible. That field is oversaturated. You're not going to make enough money to justify that kind of debt." "But I'm good at it, Mom, really good, and I want to start my own company someday." "Start your own company?" She shook her head. "Honey, that's a fantasy. Do you know how many startups fail? You'd be throwing money away on a pipe dream." "It's not a pipe dream. I've already built 2 apps that people are using." "Playing around with apps isn't a career, Jordan. Look, your father and I have discussed this. We're willing to help you go to community college here in Portland. You can live at home, save money, get a practical degree in something stable like accounting or nursing. After Brooke finishes medical school and starts earning, maybe we can help you transfer somewhere. But MIT for computer science? That's not a smart investment." The words hit me like ice water. Not a smart investment. "You're saying I'm not worth investing in," I said quietly. "That's not what I said. That's exactly what you said. Brooke was worth $100,000 for medical school. I'm not worth $20,000 a year for MIT. Brooke is going to be a doctor, Jordan. That's a guaranteed career with guaranteed income. You want to study computers and start a company someday. Those are 2 very different risk profiles. So this is about risk, about whether I'm a safe bet." My mother's silence said everything. My father finally spoke. "Jordan, we love you. We want to help, but we have to be practical. Community college is a perfectly good option." "Community college is what you offer when you don't believe in someone," I said, standing up. "Fine, I'll figure it out myself." I walked away while my mother called after me. "Jordan, don't be dramatic. We're trying to help you make smart choices." But I heard what she really meant. "We don't think you're worth the gamble." That conversation changed everything. I looked at MIT's financial aid office options, local scholarships, anything I could find. I ended up deferring MIT for a year and working 3 jobs: retail, tutoring, and freelance web design to save money. I lived at home but barely spoke to my parents. Brooke, home for winter break from Stanford, found me working on my laptop at 2 a.m. one night. "You're still mad at Mom and Dad," she observed. "They don't believe in me." "They're just being practical, Jor. They went into debt for my education. They can't do that again." "They won't do that again," I corrected, "because they think you're worth it and I'm not." "That's not fair." "Isn't it? Be honest, Brooke. If I wanted to be a doctor and you wanted to do tech, would they have made the same choice?" She didn't answer, which was answer enough. After a year of working myself to exhaustion, I'd saved $15,000. Combined with increased financial aid and a small private scholarship I'd won, I made it work. I started at MIT at 19, a year behind my original class. I called home to tell my parents. "That's wonderful, honey," my father said, sounding genuinely pleased. My mother's response was cooler. "I hope you've thought this through. You're taking on a lot of debt for an uncertain future." "I'll make it work," I said. "Well, don't expect us to bail you out when it gets hard." I didn't. MIT was the hardest thing I'd ever done. I worked 25 hours a week at various campus jobs while carrying a full course load. I lived in the cheapest housing, ate ramen more nights than I'd like to admit, and studied until my eyes burned. But I also thrived. I was surrounded by brilliant, ambitious people. I took every entrepreneurship class I could find. I entered every pitch competition. I networked relentlessly. In my junior year, I built an app with 2 classmates, a project management tool specifically designed for remote teams. We called it Catalyst. It started as a class project but gained traction when we released it as a beta. Companies started using it, paying for it. By the time I graduated, Catalyst had 15,000 paid users and was generating $50,000 in monthly revenue. My co-founders and I decided to go all in. We moved to Austin, lived in a tiny apartment together, and poured everything into growing the company. I was 23 years old, sleeping on an air mattress and building something real. I didn't tell my family about Catalyst's growth. By then, contact was minimal, obligatory holiday calls and the occasional text. Brooke had finished medical school and was doing her residency. She was my parents' pride and joy, and I was somewhere in Austin doing something with computers. When I turned 25, Catalyst hit a major milestone, $1 million in annual recurring revenue. We were profitable, growing, hiring employees. I was the CEO, leading a team of 15 people and loving every minute of it. I thought about calling my mother to tell her, to prove I'd been right, but I didn't, because by then, I didn't need her validation anymore. Over the next few years, Catalyst exploded. We raised venture capital, we expanded our product line, we grew to 50 employees, then 80. We moved into a real office. I bought a condo. I paid off my student loans. By 30, I was the CEO of a company valued at $40 million. Forbes did a feature on me as one of 30 under 30 in technology. TechCrunch called Catalyst the future of team collaboration. My mother sent me a text after the Forbes article. "Saw your article. Very impressive. Proud of you." 9 words. After 7 years of minimal contact, 9 words. I didn't respond. Brooke called instead. "Jordan, that Forbes thing is amazing. I had no idea Catalyst was so big." "Thanks." Mom and Dad saw it too. They're really proud. "Are they?" "Jordan, come on, don't be like that." "Be like what?" The daughter they told wasn't worth investing in? The one whose dreams were pipe dreams? That daughter? They were wrong, Brooke admitted quietly. They know that now. Do they? Or are they just impressed because Forbes validated me? She didn't have an answer. I kept building. Catalyst kept growing. And I kept my family at arm's length, building a life that had nothing to do with the people who didn't believe in me. Until 6 months ago. My assistant Melissa buzzed my office. "Jordan, you have a 3 o'clock interview. Position, operations coordinator. Candidate is Linda Mitchell." I looked up from my laptop. "Linda Mitchell?" "Yes, she applied through our website 2 weeks ago. HR scheduled her interview with you since you wanted to meet all management level candidates personally." Linda Mitchell. My mother's name. It couldn't be. Could it?
"Melissa, can you pull up her resume?" She sent it to my email. I opened it with shaking hands. There it was. Linda Ann Mitchell, age 57, Portland, Oregon. 20 years of experience in administrative roles. Recently let go from her position due to company downsizing. Looking for new opportunities. My mother had applied for a job at my company. I sat back in my chair, my mind racing. Had she known Catalyst was my company? Portland to Austin wasn't a common move. Had she researched the company, seen my name, and applied anyway? Or had she somehow not made the connection? I had 2 choices: cancel the interview and avoid the entire situation, or face it head on. I chose to face it. At 2:55 p.m., Melissa called. "Your 3 o'clock is here." Give me 5 minutes, then sent her in. I used those 5 minutes to study my breathing, organize my thoughts, and decide how to handle this. Professional, I decided. Completely professional. At 3 p.m. exactly, my office door opened. My mother walked in, and the moment she saw me, she froze. "Jordan." "Hello, Linda," I said, deliberately using her first name. "Please have a seat." She stood there for a long moment, her face cycling through emotions: shock, confusion, embarrassment, something that might have been pride. I didn't realize," she stammered. "That Jordan Mitchell, CEO of Catalyst Technologies, was your daughter?" I leaned back in my chair. "Interesting."
Most people research the companies they apply to. I did research. I saw Jay Mitchell and Jordan, I had no idea this was your company. Well, now you do. Please sit. Let's conduct this interview professionally. She sat slowly, clutching her resume like a lifeline. I glanced at the resume, though I'd already memorized it. "I see you were let go from Patterson Industries after 19 years. That must have been difficult." It was. The company was bought out and they eliminated a lot of positions. I've been looking for 3 months. "And you chose to apply to Catalyst because?" "Because it's a growing company with a good reputation. Because the position matched my skill set. Because," she trailed off. "Because you need a job," I finished for her. "Yes." We sat in silence for a moment. Then I said, "Tell me about your experience in operations coordination." For the next 20 minutes, I conducted a standard interview. Asked about her work history, her skills, her approach to problem solving. She answered professionally, though her voice shook at times. She was actually qualified for the position. Her resume was solid, her experience relevant. Under normal circumstances, she'd be a strong candidate. But these weren't normal circumstances. "Linda," I said finally, using her first name deliberately, "let's address the elephant in the room. You're my mother."
"You're applying for a job at a company I built from scratch. The company you told me was a pipe dream. How do you think this should work?" Her eyes filled with tears. "Jordan, I don't know. I genuinely didn't know this was your company until I walked in here. If I had known, I probably wouldn't have come." "Why not?" "Because I know I don't deserve consideration from you. I know I failed you as a mother. I know everything I said to you about your dreams was wrong." "What specifically was wrong about it?" She took a shaky breath. "I told you that you weren't worth investing in, that your dreams were fantasies, that computer science was a waste of money. I was wrong about all of it. You built something incredible, Jordan. You proved me completely wrong." "I did," I agreed. "I built a $40 million company while you told me I'd fail. I employed 80 people in an industry you said was oversaturated. I made Forbes' 30 under 30 list for the field you said wasn't worth the debt." "I know. So here's my question, Linda. Why should I hire you? Why should I bring someone into my company who fundamentally didn't believe in the vision that built it?" She was crying now, tears streaming down her face. "You shouldn't. You're absolutely right. I don't deserve to work here. I don't deserve anything from you. Jordan, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for not believing in you. I'm sorry for choosing Brooke over you. I'm sorry for making you feel like you weren't worth the investment."
You were worth it. You were always worth it, and I was too blind to see it. Part of me wanted to end the interview right there, to tell her she was right. She didn't deserve this opportunity, and she should leave. But another part of me, the part that had spent years building a company based on second chances and potential, hesitated. "Why did you leave Portland?" I asked. "Why apply to jobs in Austin?" She wiped her eyes. "Your father and I separated 6 months ago. After I lost my job, we had financial problems, arguments. He said I'd always been too hard on you, that I'd driven you away, and he was tired of my rigidity. We're getting divorced." I felt a complex mix of emotions at that news. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. He was right. I was rigid. I thought I knew best, thought I could control outcomes by controlling choices. I pushed you away, and I've regretted it every day since that Forbes article came out." "You only regretted it once I succeeded," I pointed out. No, I regretted it before then. I just didn't admit it. Jordan, watching you struggle to pay for MIT while we'd emptied our savings for Brooke, that kept me up at night. But I was too proud to admit I'd made a mistake. Too proud to reach out. And then time passed, and the gap got wider, and I didn't know how to bridge it. So you moved to Austin and applied to random jobs? I moved to Austin because Brooke is here doing her fellowship. I wanted to be near at least one of my daughters.
And I applied to Catalyst because it seemed like a good company, not because I knew it was yours, I swear. Brooke was in Austin? I hadn't known that. Does Brooke know you applied here? I asked. No, she knows I'm job hunting, but not where. Jordan, she's been trying to get me to reach out to you. She says I owe you a real apology, not a 9-word text. She's right. We sat in silence again. Linda, I need to be honest with you, I said finally. Personally, I don't know if I can have you in my life. The hurt you caused isn't something I fully processed. But professionally, you're qualified for this position. Your experience is relevant, your references are solid, and we need someone with your skill set. Her eyes widened. Are you saying? I'm saying I need to think about it. This interview is over. I'll make a decision and have HR contact you within the week. She stood slowly. Jordan, regardless of what you decide, thank you for seeing me, for listening, and for becoming the incredible woman you are despite me, not because of me. She left, and I sat in my office for a long time, staring out the window at the Austin skyline. That night, I called Brooke. Jordan? She answered immediately. Is that really you? Hey, Brooke, I heard you're in Austin. I am. I've been here for 8 months. I've wanted to reach out, but I didn't know if you'd want to hear from me. Mom applied for a job at my company. She what? I told her the whole story. When I finished, Brooke was silent for a long moment. Jordan, I don't know what to tell you, she said finally. Mom's been a mess since the divorce started. Losing her job, losing Dad, realizing she pushed you away, it's hit her hard. But that doesn't obligate you to do anything. Is she actually sorry? Or is she sorry because I succeeded and she needs something from me? I think she's genuinely sorry. She's been in therapy. She's working on herself. But I also think seeing your success forced her to confront what she did. Maybe those things aren't mutually exclusive. We talked for an hour. Really talked, for the first time in years. Brooke admitted she'd always felt guilty about being the favorite, about getting the financial support I didn't. She'd watched me struggle and felt helpless to fix it. You could have said something, I pointed out. I know, I should have. I was young and selfish, and I liked being the golden child. I'm sorry, Jordan. 2 apologies in 1 day. The universe was testing me. Over the next 3 days, I talked to my therapist, my co-founders, and my leadership team about the situation. Everyone had opinions, but ultimately they all said the same thing. The decision was mine. On Thursday, I made my choice. I called Linda myself, not through HR. Hello? She answered on the first ring, her voice anxious. Linda, it's Jordan. I've made a decision about the operations coordinator position. Okay? I could hear her breathing, quick and nervous. I'm offering you the job. Conditional. Conditional how? Conditional on clear boundaries. At work, you're an employee, and I'm the CEO. No special treatment, no leniency, no mixing personal and professional. You do the job, you do it well, or you're fired like anyone else. Outside of work, we maintain professional distance. I'm not ready for a personal relationship with you, and I need you to respect that. I understand. Jordan, I thank you. I won't let you down. See that you don't. HR will send you the offer letter and onboarding information. You start in 2 weeks. I hung up before she could say anything else. My mother started at Catalyst 3 weeks ago. She works 2 floors below me in the operations department. I see her occasionally in meetings or passing in the hallway. We nod professionally. She does her job well. I've checked with her supervisor. Last week, I saw her in the break room making coffee. She looked up, saw me, and smiled tentatively. Good morning, Jordan. Good morning, Linda. The Johnson proposal you presented yesterday was brilliant. The whole team was impressed. Thank you. We stood there awkwardly for a moment. Then she said, I know you don't want to hear this at work, but I need to say it anyway. I'm proud of you. Not just because you're successful, but because you're kind. You had every right to reject my application, to humiliate me, to get revenge. Instead, you gave me a chance.
That takes a bigger person than I was to you. I didn't know what to say. I'm going to prove you right, she continued, about giving me this chance. And someday, if you're ever ready, I'd like the chance to be your mother again. But I understand if that never happens. She left before I could respond. Yesterday, Brooke invited me to dinner. I went and was surprised to find it was just the two of us. I wanted to reconnect, she said over pasta, as sisters, not as Mom's golden child and Mom's disappointment, just as Brooke and Jordan. I'd like that, I said honestly. We talked about her fellowship, my company, our lives. It was the first easy conversation we'd had since we were kids. Mom told me you hired her, Brooke said toward the end of dinner. She cried for an hour after she got the offer letter. It was a business decision, I said. Was it, though? I thought about it. Mostly. She's qualified. We needed someone. But maybe part of me wanted to prove something too. That you're successful. That I'm bigger than the pain she caused. That I can be the person she should have been. Brooke reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You already proved that, Jordan. You proved it the moment you chose to build something instead of giving up when she told you not to try. Now, sitting in my office with the Austin skyline spread out before me, I think about the long road from that kitchen table conversation to here. From you're not worth the investment to sitting in the CEO chair of a company I built from nothing. My mother works 2 floors below me, filing reports and coordinating operations. She's good at her job, professional, respectful of boundaries. Sometimes I see her looking at the company awards on the walls, at the press features framed in the lobby, and I wonder what she's thinking. Is she proud? Regretful? Both? I don't know if we'll ever have a real mother-daughter relationship again. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. But I've learned that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, and second chances don't erase first mistakes. What I do know is this: I built something incredible. Not because of my mother's support, but despite her lack of it. I proved that I was worth the investment, not to her, but to myself. And when she walked into my office desperate for a job, I had the power to say yes or no. The power she once held over me, deciding whether I was worth investing in, was now mine to wield over her. I chose to say yes, not because she deserved it, but because I'm the kind of CEO, the kind of person who believes in second chances and potential. The same potential she refused to see in me. Sometimes the best revenge isn't rejection or cruelty. It's success so complete that the person who doubted you has to ask for your help. It's becoming the person in power and choosing kindness anyway. My mother said I wasn't worth the investment. I proved her wrong by investing in myself. And when she needed someone to invest in her, I chose to be the person she never was. That's not just revenge, that's growth, that's winning. And it feels better than any I told you so ever could.